Okay, this is part 2. These are the Ptolemies. You don't hear too much about that on the old World War II History Channel, right? The Medicis and Cleopatra. What? There's the one. Cleopatra the 7th. My apologies if I said 9. See, I don't care about some of these things. I'm trying to get out crap loads of process. Look, this is my representation of an allegorical story of your entire freaking the human banking system. I'm not trying to mock anybody here or cause problems, okay? I mean, just seriously. Every country has a church and a bank, pretty much. If not a church, it has a bank of some kind, whatever, the kind of deal, or a church. And somebody went around, the Spaniards, I was going to say, Spanish armadas, the Inquisition and the Dutch and the things. Some other people went around, okay? Okay, this is the, they made sure that I have Filipino friends, the language, I don't see them anymore, but whatever, but the language has Spanish in it. They were speaking, and I was like, what? That's Spanish. And they were like, yeah, that's when they invaded us. It's incorporated in our language kind of deal. Oh, really? Okay. Assimilation and all that jazz. And infiltration on a deep-rooted level. This is the banking system. Here's the sun, Venus, in a sense, the goddess of love. Like the mermaid, crash on the rocks kind of thing. I don't know. Earth, the river bank. You have the river bank, where one side of the bank collects deposits, the other side erodes or taxes, or the second law of thermodynamics, right? And then the Egyptians used to store their, see, this homonyms, and this is an urn where you store your cache of goods or your ancestors' ashes and things like that, right? And you earn your cash and store it in the, it's a touch screen. Store it in the river bank, where eventually sometimes it erodes and takes away part of your things, but sometimes there's deposits kind of thing. I don't know, the feather of Mott, the feather to feather L, feather electricity, feather energy, because currency and currents and riverbank deposits raise the dead to recharge the debt, electricity, feather L, whatever, that's, because there's nothing wrong with it. There's people in it that don't know the Saturn. Feed it back to Saturn kind of deal, erosion. There's lots of parts missing here, though. Energy cannot be created, destroyed, transfer, form. Work energy is transferred to form into currency, whatever, time is money kind of deal. I don't know, there's all kinds of junk like this. Well, this is not junk. This is amazing. I got the best stuff, and somebody's been hiding it for a long time. And what are we talking about? Because you don't hear this one. You don't hear that encryption is kryptonite, right? So that's what I was going over here. Am I spelling this right? I'm trying to do a few things at once here. Chew gum and tap dance. Okay, so I'm thirsty. Each of the letters here, kryptonite, if you rearrange them, you get encryption, okay? And I got all kinds of information. You can't get it all now. You can only see parts of it. D, N, T, L are the dental letters, and the Egyptians didn't use vowels. If you put an A and an E in there, you get the word dental, and those are the dental letters. Ooh, dude, trippy. Just like 314 is 4013. If you put it in the mirror, it spells pi. Ooh, trippy. All that jazz. Yeah. Even this phrase, all that jazz. So what do I got? Scribbles on a piece of paper there, but so the D and the T are interchangeable, the N and the T are interchangeable in this instant. And why? Too bad. Later, follow along the bouncing ball that's in a racquetball room. Just, okay? Same thing as follow the bouncing ball, but I'm in a three-dimensional cube trying to bust out of the, think outside the box and then find them in another box, because it's a tesseract. It's a folded up mental matrix of puzzles. And when you break out of one, you're still trapped in another. Encryption, the language. This is what whatever. So encryption, you interchange with the N, and you have encryption. Encryption is kryptonite. To encode something in the English language, say, English, bull god, they were told to stop worshipping, right? Is that the mythology? I don't know. Some of it's all different. So yeah. So what do you got? What are you talking about, man? Yeah, because don't worry, because I can just keep on cracking the bat. Mile. A kilometer is 1,000 meters. A kilo is 1,000. A meter is whatever distance there you got. Whatever. Figure it out. Go look it up. I'm too busy right now. Because I'm trying to tell you how many feet are in a mile. How many feet are in a mile? If you don't know, then you don't know. And you got to go try to figure it out, right? One of those known, unknown, unknown, known, knowns. Right? So here we go. Someone figured out a mile. And I'm going to use the Roman numerals here, which is 1,000. And the I is 1, and the L is 50, and the E is an English number, and it's an ordinal, which is the balanced color, or the yellow in the middle of the red, yellow, and blue on the Superman shirt kind of deal, and it is used to multiply twice. So you can learn about the T from this one later, or you can learn about the N from this one later too, right? Okay, so 1,050 and 1 and 5 is 1,056, and you multiply it by 5 and you get 5,280, and if you're using feet, that's how many feet are in a mile, and it's built into the word. Okay, this don't stop, because whatever, I haven't even started. I got more paper, but because here we want to do one. Want to do one? For the kids on the internet think it's Illuminati, but I say it's Illuminatus. Now I, L, L, M, and I are Roman numerals for 1, 50, 50 is 1,000, 1, 100. Sorry, 50, 50 is 100, and the M is 1,000. 1, 100, 1,000, and 1, which is binary code for pi, or 3.1415. Okay. Now, using this specific coding system, which was created by a wonderful, or not created, discovered by a man named Dennis Fetro. But then again, I've found other references and things. I used to study some of this stuff, right? So what you have left over is Unitas, and the two U's cancel each other out. U over U equals 1, or the letter A, and you replace that, and you get Unitas. You spell it backwards. Oh, settle down, because I'm writing it underneath here. S is 3, A is 1, T is 4, A is 1, N is 5. So this word means pi. This entity does not exist. You're a victim of parapsychological thinking if you think that something that is real exists. It's an inductive thought process that projects reality onto something, into a future thought process that doesn't have any basis in reality. Okay? So, and it's just a name. Who knows? Just like the Jesus guy, his name was Joshua. Maybe he'd be really pissed if you came back and you were like, hey, Jesus. He's like, my name's Joshua. Smarten up. Okay? And so this is pi. Illuminatus means pi. Keepers of the secrets of pi, and servants of pi. This is the light bringer, because an LU cipher, LU is the fallen angle 7, because that's what I was talking about earlier. The priests in the Dark Ages, they took an angel and an angle. And that's a mythological story, the angle of light and an angel of light. An angle of light is comprised of photonic particles that can carry information, and an angel of light is a messenger of God. They are the same thing, like the celestial spheres. This is a sine wave. The celestial spheres and the celestial sphere. The celestial spheres is like all ghosts, imaginary forces, and gods, and, you know, the interplay of the precession and of the equinoxes and into a precession of the bulls, and but then the meaning is lost. And so the primates are continuing these rituals, but they don't know how to do the fucking math or the science or how to read a sundial, put a stick, what time is it? Oh, which way's the shadow pointing? What are you talking about? Okay, you're born in time. Saturn L is the father time. You're born in time, you die in time, and everything erodes in the second law of thermodynamics, and you will eventually, your cells degrade as they reproduce and replicate, and unfortunately death, which is very sad, and this is black, whatever. So you got this is the sine wave, and this is the negative half of the sine wave. You're living in sine, in sin, in time, and time. You are born in time, die in time, and all time leads to death. You're born in sin, you die in, or whatever, sin, and all sin whatever leads to death. Because it's time. It's an allegorical freaking story. Okay, I got so much. This is just whatever. What's that spell? Oh, it looks like water. Water. One of the oldest words. Water. In like Proto-Indo-European. We're still saying it because there's this magic kind of deal in the language, but there is no real magic. But you can cast a spell, and you can draw plans. You can build something and manifest it, and summon it, and manifest it, a garage or a car. You see, because people think they walk around, the mob mentality is so smart. It doesn't know nothing. You are Frankenstein villagers. How is the metal? How does the metal come from the rocks? You're out there, tightening bolts and polishing paint. How do you make a bucket for a... How's this iPod made? How do you make a bucket for the freaking bulldozer? Okay? How do you... Who puts the angle on the roads that knows if you're doing 80 fucking off the curve, but 70 is nice and comfortable? You can't... we're gonna save the earth. You gotta be the most... You're dangerous. And to some sick force, not a sick force, an organized kind of couple criminal people have been trying to do a psyop on your ass. Now, you might be still trapped. Remember the days before this generation that grew up on this stuff that believes in whatever magic and things like that? It's like the Morlocks and the Eloi are running around using iPhones, and they're like, they believe in, where'd the iPhone come from? The iPhone stork fairy. How is it made? Oh, you're talking devil's talk now. You see, I'm only like a half-assed polymath. I'm not trying to do everything, every subject. The entire psychosexual, subconscious nature of the human primate species anthropologically, and like the, Big Bang Sheldon equations on the chalkboard. So this is a stick form kind of way, and I have a far more detailed chart than this, but it's on another program that doesn't work too well on this computer. Cause I lost the last 4 years of my life because I started working on this like 4 years ago. Made a couple phone calls to like the UN and like, I don't know. The next thing I know, they gave me a warning, and then all this weird stuff just coincidentally started happening, and half my money disappeared with a fake court order that took me 14 months to get, talking to people that were professionally trained like internet trolls, and I sat with a checklist of like counterintelligence and truth suppression and call center tactics, and then I would ask a question and be like, check. Every time they answer, it was scripted like professional Moriarty talk. The devil made me do it. Tee-hee-hee. Sick, sociopathic, criminal fucking bastards, and there's shitloads of people. And if anybody wants to doubt me, I got a video right now. Let's go. This guy, huh? You want to be a bunch of work? Huh? Yeah? I'm kind of half ready.
Like the whole basis of like communism is like people and planet above profit, right? Like we're here to preserve the planet, preserve people. We don't want to have to like eliminate people, right? But if people are going to try to fight back against the revolution, like when you hear about like atrocities committed by like in Cuba, like Fidel and Che, like killing people, like those people that were actively like they were like anti-revolution, they were fighting against the revolution. Like in any war, like if you like when you guys were in war, you encountered people that were fighting against you. What did you do to those people? Right? I mean, the same thing holds true in revolution, right? Like you can't abide people like actively working against your revolution. Like you can give them a choice. Be like, hey, you can join the revolution. You can not be a bootlicker. You can sit idly by and allow it to happen, But if you're going to take up arms against the revolution, then you should expect a violent response, right? Like, it's natural. Fight or die. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so there's lots of people like that. And I'm also suggesting that there's a lot of people that are fucking smarter than that guy. Okay? And then he's one of their little stormtrooper minion guys. He's the gorgeous George from the Boondock Saints. He's sent out to muddy the water, okay? He fucked up there. He's riding the scorpion. He's the scorpion, took the bait, and he's riding the frog across the river, and the master scorpion's gonna sting the frog and sink all of them. Woe to you, O lawyers and scribes. I don't believe in that stuff. It shouldn't be a factor here, because I said I was talking objectively. But I have objectively processed into becoming an atheist, and I observe my entire species and all their gods. Because to me, there's nothing but a bunch of snow globes on this planet of little cultures and groups of people, and if you leave them alone long enough, they start, like, making spear poisons and and letting snakes bite them in religious rituals, and maybe they went to phallic worship kind of deals back in the days, or the goddess worship at one point in time, and things like this, right? Somebody apparently, because I got other references. You think this is all I got? I got everything pretty much there. There's a guy, Ash Rakwasi, who talks about Kemet Egypt, gives tours, runs a tour company, does all right. An entire group of people, they believe and know something different, and they are part of the root of some kind of anti-whatever going on here, kind of whatever, let's fight the establishment. This is like the 60s all over again. These people are reacting like the climate beetles are there, and they're just a bunch of giddy schoolgirls and horny teenage boys running around, okay? And this is the utilization of this mental energy or their physical energy. They're being herded and controlled like primates and triggered by pictures, just like Amy triggering a monkey, showing it a picture of a pretty kitten or an alligator. Okay, so where are we going? We got more. We got lots more. So they talk about another culture. This is the black people, if you want to say. That's what yeah. I don't know. That's not my classification. They're human beings. The original inhabitants there in Africa and things, and then, crossbreeding of humans, and then just different color skins, and some pissed off albino that got rejected from the tribe and sent to live in the caves in Europe with huddling all cold in the frozen snow, and then some plot for him and his family. We'll get you, gadget. And so, yeah, I'm going to suggest on my fictional Earth that something like that happened, right? And a bunch of people sat around with the campfire, and there was hey, I just made this new metal called bronze, and it makes my sword stronger than that other city. Whoa! Hey, Jimmy, are you saying we could go over there and just kill them all and raise their kids believing in another god and, loot, pillage, plunder, and rape? Yeah, I guess you're right, but that's just saying my sword was better. Oh, well. Right? The Bronze Age. And then a collapse. And then Alexander the Great kind of deal. Let's go around, and nobody studies. This same woman that I'm about to play in a moment does another historical documentary about Alexander the Great, and then there's a woman that I find slightly disturbing that she's talking to. She's explaining how I think he's a prick. It's Alexander the Great. I think he's a prick. I need a drink of water. I think he's a mass-murdering, freaking Lex Luthor sociopathic psycho who could play chess, and he understood astronomy, and he knew how to, ride horses, do farming. What the fuck do these people know? Oh, save the planet, fix the fucking electricity, lower my bills, whatever they fucking... There's so much more, and all of this is just an introduction to a question asked by a woman named Carol. And I don't know, I'm just some guy doing research. I'm the guy that's doing the research that everybody else is. I was just researching one day. No, you weren't. suckered. And you didn't start from a belief system like you have amnesia. Just forget. Empty your cup. Never walk into a dojo. Do you even know what a dojo is? You see, because I'm a slightly, rough around the edges, cultured kind of guy. Tarzan in a three-piece suit. Okay? Although I ain't wearing a suit right now. Okay, the coffee's, the water's heating up in the microwave. Because, whatever. It's, whatever. So, yes, the woman talking about Alexander the Great. I think he was a mass murdering, evil genius. And somebody that thinks he's great is probably, if they're smart, probably thinks of him as an honorable evil genius. And, just knows that the peasant class or the plebs who are running around the castle with picket signs don't know how to write a contract with the proverbial devil. They don't know what Alexander the Great. Yeah, he was great because he rode on a horse, was bigger than us, and kicked ass. He was 10 foot tall and bulletproof, like Braveheart. I guess that's my characterization of the general populace. Individually, you break them up. They're, I'm sure, people. And from a distance, they're civilians to me. Or other primates. Or a fucking... What the shitload of screens playing the craziest, murderous psycho primates walking around with modern technology, acting like they came out of the 13th century. Or worse, Bronze Age. And then crap loads of them, whatever. They don't have no common denominator. That's their common denominator. You should fix things. That's basically, you can make us go. We demand you fix our ship. We're going to hold you Exactly, wow. We kidnapped your engineer. We will force him to fix our ship. That's how the fucking Nazis did it, really. That's it. Seriously. It's got to be reduced. And you got to go there. You can't be all pretentiously using $5, $10 words thinking that you're talking shit. Because you want to see something? How much time do I got? I don't know. This is just some stuff. What's going on here? Oh, no. There's been action. Oh, no, crap. What's this? People are talking. Oh, crap. There's that other person. There's this one. See? Because there's a guy, right? There's a conversation. Here, I'm going to show you. Okay? Whoa. My arm is sore there. This guy, this not the real person. It's an entity that's passed away. Writer, thinker, poet, 1874, 1936, G.K. Chesterton. Right? I see a quote. There is no bigot like an atheist. Well, I think that's kind of bigoted in itself. It's coming from a place I looked into it. He is apparently a bit of a pantheist and believes that Mother Nature is real. The Virgin Mary kind of deal. Mother Nature is your goddess or god or kind of deal, right? And so he has a pantheistic, the universe is alive kind of deal. And so, that means he's not an atheist. So he's a bigot towards an atheist in a sense, I guess. So there's different ways to argue that. But anyways, let's just go here. Big talk. I gotta look at the screen. Hold the screen here. This allows for some interesting readings. When a theist is, for example, racially bigoted, they may often simply point to some passage of their religious text commanding this. When such behavior arises in an atheist, they have no such theological clutch to lean on as an excuse. That's person A there. The green and the blue, which is nice. Good basic colors. This guy. Sure, they're a nice person. A little leaning on the Loki, Moriarty, Lex Luthor kind of scale there, chaotic, kind of good, possibly, I don't know. Misrepresenting any text doesn't reflect poorly on the text, merely on the interpreter. I can't speak for all religious texts, but with the Bible, there's no correct translated passages that justify being racially bigoted. I just want to interject here for a moment. You imagine if they start using words like Satan or Lucifer, and I understand those words to actually mean pie, so I'm reading totally different things in there. Plus, I've studied some psychological manipulation tactics in the defense kind of sense, and learning everything that anyone that would ever be a bad guy would possibly know. And so, that's where someone gave me a question once. They said, there comes a time in a man's life or a human's life, if you where you have to, you learn that you are mistaken, and then you have to either cease to be mistaken or cease to be honest. Okay, now let's get serious here. Grow up, right? Not playing in the world as a child. Think as a child, as a grown-up, you put away your toys and you use bigger toys, more complicated toys. Fix the light switch, build a toilet, install an entire plumbing system or whatever, all that jazz. Oh, I don't want to be saying that. There, silly little phrase. So there's also psychological manipulation tactics or things in the wording and intellectual and emotional kind of senses of a human being. And anybody ever remember when you first start talking to people and you don't know, you have to learn, like Sheldon, the difference between a statement and whether, because there's like intent. There's a hidden intent. You can tell if you read a comment off the, situation comedy kind of way, it can have a negative intent. Right? Oh, great. I'm just thinking of trolls and things like that. It's actually, whatever. Okay, and I got off the thing here because I want to keep some flow going with some of this here, but I told you it's a bouncing ball in a racquetball room here. This person replies, but then it is simply your own interpretation, while others may differ and indeed do, such is the nature of interpretation. And oh, I got this, that's why I went there, because this just goes off in so many other directions, and the trolls and arguing and whoosh. So I know how to crush that, but we're going to put that aside for now. Even though he's right, this person, whatever, there are rules. This is what I would be expecting from this person. But anyways, there are rules to use for understanding or interpreting any piece of literature. If one shrinks those rules and then thinks they can use it as authority for their own bias, they are objectively wrong in doing so. But who makes the rules? It would seem apparent that different sects employ different rules, else they wouldn't end up being different sects. Okay, when somebody says something like that, who makes the rules? Part of my thought process goes to Latin, basic rules of electricity, the laws of physics, and notice I said laws of physics, laws, logical formulas. Does anybody know? I'm sure, no, everybody's smart. I'm the same as you, don't worry, I'm not trying to think, but I'm just explaining a complicated thing, a Psy0ps agent sweater, and you pulled the wool over your own eyes kind of deal, but you didn't. Ignorance is no excuse for the law. Let he who be deceived be deceived. Somebody thought about that shit first. Who makes the rules? He said. Okay. Reason dictates that objective analysis of text is the correct way, not subjective analysis allowing one's preconceived biases to form the basis for what they believe is a faulty foundation. And then he adds, yes, countless sects exist, mostly due to eisegetical, I am not sure of the pronunciation, not exegetical or exegetical interpretation. This here is a fancy way of saying subjective and objective analysis. But he just reworded it with, instead of using $5 words here, he used $10 words here. Crap. The battery says it's running out. Okay. Nonetheless, the weight lies upon proponents of theism to bring forth the consensus theistic proposition precedent to the consideration of non-theists. Wow, doesn't that sound pretty hot? Holy crap, what the hell is that? And there's me. I say, that is an awesome $15 word way to say that the burden of proof lies with those making the claim. This guy didn't respond. This guy did. Easily impressed with grandiloquence, to both you assumed gents. The proof of God is his amazing creation. People have the amazing ability to willfully deny anything they simply don't wish to believe is true, even when it's objective reality. And then he posts a picture, and my eye, if I'm scrolling through this, what did you just see? What did your eye just see? Darren Brown stuff. You don't know who Darren Brown is? Oh, wow, you're missing out. Okay? For the wrath of God is revealed. So that's what my eye sees when I scroll, and then claiming to be wise, they became fools. Really? Son of a bitch? Trying to do some psy-optimi, whatever? Whatever. Just play along. And then I reply, actually my first reply was down here. Really invalid. That's the teleological argument. I'm trying to read off the screen here. Inductive reference cannot justify belief in extended objects. That's what I said over there. Know what projection is, as in psychological projection. There's a limited space, so the question should probably be, do you know what psychological projection is? That's the actual question. People have the amazing ability. I re-quoted the guy. That's what he said up here. That's what he said. Okay? People have the amazing ability to willfully deny anything they simply don't wish to believe is true, even when it's subjective reality. Psy0ps agent. This guy is telling me everything I need to know already. He answered his own question and attacked me with the weakness that he has deep down inside. Then you use a picture from the Bible verse that starts off about the wrath of God is revealed and concludes anyone questioning it is a fool. Really? No question mark, no exclamation mark. To imply, to push the intent, kikorai, to push the intent. Come on now. Seriously, motherfucker. Come on. Really? Are you serious? You're kidding, right? Really? Which God? There's a fucking list. I could look it up. There's like hundreds. Or dozens, anyways. Your God insults, slanders, libel and print. That's a joke there, by the way. And threatens with wrath. Because I don't even know. Who's this God? Is this God El? The house of El? The generative, the ordinative, or the destructive force, the generative, the operational, the destructive forces, the God, the Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, the creator, maintainer, destroyer. All hail the house of El. And the sine wave. Saturnal, Saturnalia, winter solstice is the deeper root that's right there, hidden in plain sight that nobody goes to. Oh, Christmas isn't real, but it's really, a celebration, and oh, the Italians told me, mangia, eat, get fat, it's cold. Right? The primate celebration, just like I was mentioning, the procession of the bulls and the precession of the equinoxes. Mankind manifested astronomical phenomena in human rituals and then forgot, or somebody else killed them off and raised up their kids to believe in, on Heliopolis, which is on. That's why your lights are on. The sun god on, the god of light, 25 times in the Bib El, or the Helios, Bibliotech Helios in Latin, I believe, from the Greeks there, the Bible, the Book of the Sun, allegory. Now, if I got time left with the battery, I could try to plug it in while I'm doing this. And then I could still film, because I think I got some time left, so I hope nothing goes wrong here. This is part 2, because I dropped the freaking iPod. So now it's plugged in, at least give it some power for a minute. Okay? So, I kind of did my routine there, my Tarzan a little bit dressed up to the guy. And got my point across there. He didn't seem to reply. So I would say that I won the debate, or that little argument. And he realized that he had met a formidable opponent. But I gotta learn to do that. I gotta learn to try and be like, hey, excuse me, what does God need with the starship? Okay. Yeah. I like William Shatner. Captain Kirk, Captain Picard. Two kind of different guys. Nice happy medium. So, we're going to go somewhere else now. Here we go. Ready? We gotta hold this here.
Scholars have often struggled with Greek religion. It doesn't square easily with the Athens they wanted to see. It was sophisticated and rational.
Just a coincidence.
Athens might have been a democracy, but it had emerged from an archaic world of multiple gods and primordial rituals. For the Athenians, there was one particular festival they cherished, which fostered a sense of togetherness. It was known as the Mysteries. The ritual started with a procession from the Kerameikos cemetery, all along the sacred way. For years, it's been virtually impossible to work out what went on, because this was a mystery religion, and initiates to the cult were bound by an oath of silence. The secret rituals promised hope of a happy afterlife.
Sorry about the camera shaking.
The men and women arrived at Eleusis in time for the nocturnal celebrations. You have to try to imagine what it must have been like for them to be here. Approaching the sanctuary, they passed a cave, which was thought to be the entrance to the underworld itself. Hades, the god of the underworld, had raped and abducted the goddess Demeter's daughter, Persephone. The ritual torch procession was to console the goddess for the loss of her child. Demeter could have her daughter back, but only for 8 months of the year. The myth was an allegory for the cycle of nature.
The myth was an allegory for the cycle of
nature. Crops in the
nature.
autumn and their magical rebirth in the spring.
Death of crops in the autumn.
To the initiates,
Autumn.
it must also have meant a promise.
Autumn was an Egyptian god that was responsible for, like, the leaves falling off the trees and things. Okay, that's what I'm saying. There's a mix
Of their own rebirth after death. There'd been the smell of smoke and thousands of pine torches. Then you arrived here at the gates to the sanctuary. In fact, you can see how heavy they were from these ruts, where the doors were dragged open so that the thousands of cult followers could make their way into the sacred space.
There's so much to explain.
Athens jealously guarded admission to the mysteries. Those who revealed the secret rites risked the death penalty.
Astronomy.
Any attempt to divulge the
Calendar.
secrets of the cult was considered an attack on democracy itself.
Time
Michael
warp.
Cosmopoulos has been the chief archaeologist here at Eleusis.
It's what these guys with the castle freaking thing there, because I don't know who's who. I'm just absorbing information. I don't know who's who. I just take the information, but some people got this thing wrong, because now I'm off. Oh, here we go. Because this pi code, okay? There was another guy. This stuff came out. Things got fragmented, okay? There's so much to explain here. This is why I have a video with Denzel Washington from Ricochet running into the room with Lindsay Wagner as the district attorney, and he's trying to explain. He's all over the place. That's why I put the video up there, because there's so much. How do you speak? I gotta like the Crow. Just like, excuse me, let me just, 30 years or whatever, 30 hours of pain or 20 years of research. Here, just come here for a second. Bzzz. Johnny Mnemonic, fucking take this USB stick and plug it into your cranium. So there was a guy that came out on the internet. Somebody was trying to do, there's legitimate researchers, there's verifiable information, there's academic people, and then there's a bunch of clowns and snake oil salesmen, and then a bunch of idiot followers, and just, jackass jokers, okay? Get rid of all the presumptions that the world is a nice place. Hail Hydra, they're back, and they're standing right next to you. You want to know why? Somebody's playing a PSYOP, Primate Management Services, I call them, PMS. They're an irritant. I'm sure women would understand that joke. But they're like PMS for all mankind. Zookeepers, handlers. There's apparently shitloads of them. People were wondering back in the day when the internet started and all the conspiracy stuff went around, right? Started fragmenting. That's why I call 52 Conspiracy Pickup. How could so many people be responsible? Well, there's a fucking entire country that's doing something else. And they don't even know or care or have the same beliefs as you. This is all primate psychology. Okay, so this guy was an academic and he come out with this stuff. A couple months of me studying Satan's pi, Lucifer's pi, Illuminatus pi, whatever, wow, this is amazing, and I'm like researching and happy, and then go try to share it with somebody. Walk outside and just try to tell them any of this. Buckets of water. You just offer a glass, someone said to me once. You throw buckets of information at people. You should just try offering them a glass. What the fuck? So I gotta I'm making chapters and this. You see how many files there? I showed you some little banking chart or whatever. with the riverbank. I got like 30 of those charts re-explaining all of human history. You got like a primate's remedially intricate manual, training and education, and all of this stuff, and then some more. So this guy came out with the pie, Illuminatus' pie, right? So like I make a video, I call it the Luciferian Illuminatus Hollywood satanic whatever, and it means pie, magic wand to me. But everybody else is like, whatever, Lucifer, Satan, Hollywood, no. So I'm learning this information, and out comes some punk fucking hotshot snake oil salesman kind of deal, claiming that his name means pie guy, and that he's like sent by God to like tell people the truth about the mysterious kind of hidden knowledge. He doesn't go anywhere near this shit. He won't go anywhere. He's throwing everybody. Takes a whole fucking hundreds of people. He's got all where'd you come from, motherfucker? 35,000 subscribers overnight kind of deal. What the hell? This stuff was going on for a long time ago, before your algorithm. This is all out. I'm putting this down for a minute. I don't want to carry it around, but I gotta unplug it. I'm gonna unplug it. Okay, so I do some research. I find out that his real name is something completely different than the name that he has put for his show name out onto the billboards for everybody on his YouTube videos. That him and some other guy traveled from two different parts of a country on the opposite ends of the coast or whatever, the country, and they met somewhere in the middle at some place, and they trained and educated themselves or something, and then they did some little seminar thing or whatever they did there when they got there, and then apparently they split up and went back to their, each side of the coast, and up comes YouTube channels with like professional marketing and professional, they got thousands of dollars of video equipment and editing and all this stuff, and then they just claim, I did it on my camcorder and I'm just a guy doing research. Books ready, published out of nowhere. Movies, things to sell you. I do research. The guy who's changed some whatever high school educated guy who failed mathematics, and he was out there trying to show like stuff in books. There are books that black people have that white people have never seen. Okay, there's some social worker. You want to talk? Remember that guy I showed you the video talking about the guy? We're gonna fucking try to get all the Americans guns, and then we're just gonna rise up and kill them all, just like Cuba. Why? You brainwashed, moronic stormtrooper, Dark Ages freak, whatever you're doing. I get off on putting people on the rack. And y'all wondering what's going on in the world. And then there's other people, they don't know how to stop these bastards. They're not even aware that it exists. Remember the story I heard the other day? Whatever, the 30 years, the police, they did. We knew that these criminals were going on about their business. No, I'm not. I'm just, no offense, seriously, whatever. Well, we knew they were going about this rapist child prostitution ring and all this other stuff, but we couldn't do anything because whatever. They all got excuses, right? Bullshit, I say. All kinds of different levels. Wow. Could tear that shit apart for days, and that's the point. I want some time. I'm supposed to hopefully be getting, some payday soon here, because I'm hungry. It's been a rough little seasonal winter there, winter solstice. Remember? Winter solstice! What is it? Why don't you talk about it? Why can't you talk about it? Why can't you talk about that? And then somebody says, well, it's strange how some religious things follow some astronomical chart. And the person that steps in and tries to say anything, that's the troll, that's the handler, that's the zookeeper, or one of their Dinner with Andre. See, there's so much. My Dinner with Andre. The whole scene. Then you got the Stanford Prison Experiment, the Milgram Experiment, the Ash Conformity Experiment. Oh, and then we got rat number 3. That's another link for something I should put up somewhere. The 3 rats from Yale University. What's that called? Let me just look that up, see if I can find that. Rat number 3. There it is. It's on YouTube. Let me just go there. Ow. Experiment Experimentally produced social problem in rats. 1939. Yale University, Department of Psychology, Institute of Human Relations. Okay. And the basics is that one rat tricks the other rats into bringing it food, treating it like Pharaoh. That's pretty much the gist of it, I suppose, in a basic primate way. You know what I'm trying to say there? Ugh. Okay? Tarzan and whatever, doing his routine. Okay, so let's go back to this for now.
Greek ideas of the afterlife.
Just a few
This
minutes.
fear of death, progressively it gets more and more intense. The reasons for this have to do probably with the emergence of the individual as a separate unit within democratic city-states, especially Athens.
Democratic city-states. Polis. What's going on? Crap. The internet signal just disappeared. That's twice today that's happened. Oh, we got someone else there. Oh, we got other people there. Hang on a second. I don't like this. Robots obey. Come on, it's a radio signal. When I was a kid, we called Wi-Fi radio. Oh, come on. What happened? What's going on? Some kind of malfunction? It's frozen. Ednazu.
As you get
Come on.
Within democratic city-states, especially Athens.
What you're saying is that as you get more of a sense of yourself in the democratic system, that's when you can really start to address what happens to you after you die.
Yes, you start wondering about the big issues of life and death. And it is here at Eleusis that the people try to find some answers for the first time. There is no heaven or hell. The world of the dead is this place without hope, without joy.
Jeez, yeah. Oh, come on.
There is no heaven or hell. The world of the dead is this place without hope, without joy.
It's great. It's streaming or something's going on there. Yeah. Technical difficulties. This is real. Real. What's going on? Is it going to do anything? There's apparently a signal. There's other things going on. What time? It's a freaking Sunday. Everybody's on the internet.
Mystery cults has offered a hope.
Mystery cults offered hope.
Better afterlife.
To get a better afterlife.
And
But that's
perhaps
not all.
even finding your way to the Elysian fields, the closest that Greek religion comes to the notion of paradise.
Paradise.
So what would have happened to the initiates once they arrived here?
Well, they would line up right there at the end of the sacred way. Each person.
I'm saying that there was this group studying astronomy and that realized that the other group thought that the freaking, luminaries and the stars were gods and real, and that, hey, I'm the pharaoh here. Me and the sun god, we're like this. We're like this. Me and the sun god. Right, Vinny? Yeah, Constantine. You had a dream last night, and you're going to worship the sundial, the 12 sky poles surrounding the 12 apostles of El, the 12 apostles surrounding the 12 disciples, surrounding the sun marker, the sundial. Because they don't think, they'll believe, just like Newton, Sir Isaac Newton. See, there's so much. Just like Sir Isaac Newton said in something called the net substance, or Venus and Mars had an affair, and Vulcan, Venus's husband, came home one day and caught the two having an affair, and he tied them up in a net and hung them over the fire and beat them. And then, so I'm saying that anybody watches, right, CIA without lifting a pencil, watches the media, the mainstream media, they say, in the primate talk, I guess, that you come away thinking, oh, did you hear the report? Did you hear what Venus and Mars did? What do you think of Mars? Do you think Vulcan was justified? That's for the civilians. That's the plebs. The plebeians. How do you spell that? Meanwhile, inside the castle. Hey, you seen this cool sundial? This thing called geometry, algebra, trigonometry. You know how to use a sword. I'll play chess.
Would come into the temple, and as you can see, this whole building is basically a huge theater.
Yeah.
Theater.
The doors would
Theater.
lock, and that
Iron Man 3. Mandarin in Florida. Okay. What's his name? Dressed up like a flag, running around kicking down doors. I bring you freedom and democracy.
it was the beginning of the ritual.
If you need it. If you want it. Whatever.
Most scholars agree it was a reenactment of the actual myth of
Paraphrase, that's right. Paraphrase. Psy0ps paraphrasing.
the abduction of Persephone by Hades and her final reunion with her mother Demeter.
Not really,
When
but
we
my
watch a
apologies.
play or a movie, we
Play or a
identify
movie. Theater.
with the
We
personalities.
identify with the personalities. Joseph Campbell. Nobody knows who that is.
Has
You won't
gone
see that
to
in your
the
news
underworld, and she has returned.
anymore.
It's like your best friend has defeated death. Therefore, you draw strength and courage
It's
from
fucking
that
wicked
victory.
that fucking Bernie's. The goddamn Bernie's dead. And the fucking teenagers got control of the liquor cabinet, the weapons, and the fucking guns. Okay? I'm just saying. On my fictional world, okay? Relax.
So you don't fear death. This was as close as the Greeks would come to virtual reality, in the sense that they would simulate death in ritual.
I don't know. This
Like
is a
us,
lot of
the
stuff.
Athenians struggled with insoluble moral debates, and they
Somebody
chose
already
to
figured
play
it
these
out.
out in public and invented a new art form in order to do so.
Yeah, so you're just watching Dancing Tap Daddy.
Drama gives us an insight into what the Greeks thought about life overall, because they lived their lives in a very strict, logical, well-structured society. And when you live in that kind of society, some of your passions and feelings are
51% of
suppressed.
the people in like little boys or something like that. So that's a problem
So,
with democracy.
by
Because
celebrating-
see, you don't even know what you're talking about. People, oh, democracy.
They were
Democracy,
allowed
democracy,
to
democracy.
have an
It's like,
outlet
you
for
don't
these
understand whatever,
passions
nothing.
and
Oh, I like
feelings that
politics.
they
Well, then
suppressed
shut the
for
fuck
the
up with
rest
your
of the
democracy.
year.
Because nobody wants to talk. I don't want to talk about politics.
The dramas dealt with horrific extremes of
when we went to high
behaviour,
school,
sons raping mothers,
got
brothers and
things to do.
sisters making
We got a
love,
life, it's busy.
mothers eating their children. All
Yeah,
the
it's kinda
dreadful
sick shit.
potential of man was laid bare here.
The potential of
And
man
a constant
laid
theme
bare
was the
here.
pursuit of power.
It's coming.
Playwrights made it quite clear that
Put it
even a
back in its
democracy
box.
couldn't
Put the
quench
foot
the
on the dragon.
ambitions of ruthless individuals.
Bing!
Extremes of behaviour, sons raping mothers, brothers and sisters making love, mothers eating their children. All
I'm
the
sorry,
dreadful
this is
potential of
sick.
man was
Anyways, the
laid
point
bare
is-
here. And a constant theme was the pursuit of power. Playwrights made it quite clear that even
Grow
a
up.
democracy couldn't quench the ambitions of ruthless individuals.
Couldn't quench the ambitions of ruthless individuals. Did you see that guy? Remember that guy? We're gonna light him up. Once take all their weapons away, it'll be just like Cuba. Just like fucking Stalin. Oh yeah. Bringing fucking peace and communism and diversity is good. That's a reference to a video with Adolf Hitler bringing diversity and destroying a nation. And apparently ancient Rome used to do that, mess with the women and children and demoralize them or hook all the women and children, and then the men were easy to conquer after that. That's some psychological tactic apparently Rome used to use, And furthermore, Carthage must be destroyed, right? At the end of every speech. Right! Oh, you got some... I just plugged in the recorder there. You got some nasty, super smart individuals. That Darren Brown is a good man. And that one man alone has all the power of I don't know, a bunch of hyenas. In a battle between two mighty tigers, even a common dog can defeat the victor. Sun Tzu, Art of War. I'm just a grunt, I play checkers too. Okay, so now we gotta go ahead here. 30 minutes and 42 seconds. Because there's so much stuff. There's other stuff. There's all kinds of stuff. There's so much more. What have I said here? Because this is half It's half. I tell you about, see, they're talking about death. I tell you about electricity and like the recordings of a circuit, and like if this recorder stopped, then my voice echoes like a tree falling in the forest. Doesn't make a sound. It's the primate screaming on a blue ball in space. Con! You know, seriously, what? And so when the neural pattern is lost, that's why cryonics and things like that, if the neural pattern is lost, then the individual is basically gone. You can clone a body and it'll be a totally different individual with new memories and thought processes and things like that. Ideally, you have to have an exact duplicate, Project Rebrain, of the entire neural patterns and connections and all that wonderful plethora, cornucopia of words that I am not allowing to flow out because I'm trying to continue throwing buckets at the fucking witch, the Wicked Witch of the West, www, va 666, possibly, who knows, that one I don't know, you know, Googlana, the Great Bull of Heaven. There's a lot of bull stuff here, not bullshit either. Got a lot of bullshit been pulled over people's eyes. Bullshit baffles brains. That's the whole deal with those guys using the $15 words. And me going, hey, excuse me, did you just say that those making the claim are required to provide the evidence? Burden of proof lies on those making the claim? Is that what you just said with all those, like, in, like, 4 times as many words as I just did? But you made it sound like you were the fucking king shit? Talking like some fucking hotshot, smooth criminal. Attention, planet Earth. You've been hit by a cult of smooth criminals. Okay. So, 30 minutes and 42 seconds. I'm just going to leave this thing sitting there for now. The device. This is 3136. 3029. Good enough. We'll try to go from here.
Imaging is able to do with the difficult-to-read text.
He's analyzing the text.
The Devaney papyrus presented special problems because it had been rolled up in a scroll.
But as with the Dead Sea Scrolls, it's taken a long time just to figure out what author it was talking about.
Who cares?
The author is commenting on a religious text. He tells us we shouldn't understand the myths literally, but interpret them scientifically.
The author gives an analysis of a piece of religious poetry, but he thinks it mustn't be taken literally, it has to be taken allegorically, and when he analyzes it, he's presenting the view that it's actually an account of the creation of the world in terms of the current theory of molecular science, which is a truly extraordinary mode of interpretation. And the kind of thing you might find in the 18th century when Newton was reinterpreting the Bible.
When Newton was reinterpreting the Bible, so we jump back to Venus and Mars. Told you, racquetball in the same room. You want a hyperdimensional mind map? And so, Venus is actually copper, Mars is iron, and Vulcan is the god of blacksmithing. And the act of smelting the two metals together, the copper and the iron, you heat them over the fire until a network pattern is formed, and you create a new metal. It's a formula. It's the Cadbury secret. And please, no pianos. I like piano. That's another story. Come on. Just a guy, just some research. Analyzing other things. Just, you know, it's a formula, chemical formula, a metallurgical formula for, you know, alchemical. Oh, I don't understand it. It's mystical and magical. It must mean something. Born in sin, die in sin. Born in time. The peasants, the plebs understand celestial spheres. Meanwhile, back in the castle. Follows algorithm. Okay, so it's allegorical, mythological, anthropological stories. How do you make a count? How's the sundial work? All this stuff. How do you get metals from rocks? How many feet are in a mile? All of this stuff, right? More and more. Trust me, I got like so many other historical references that are, I'm sorry. Put your money where your mouth is. Sign the contract. Sign here. Buy Cygnus. 2 signatures. Business. Buy Cygnus. 2 signatures on the contract, and even the devil himself, according to the mythology and the proverbial guy there with the pitchfork and the horns, obeys contract law. Obeys contract law. Even the proverbial devil himself. I was going to make another joke there, but I just had some kind of thing going on with my ear, if you want to know. So look, there's some pictures. What's that? Circular things. Oh wow, it's like some kind of magical formulas and curses, and it's a pentagram. It must mean something, right? It's a fake wall of fire there, Charlton Heston, and see. I just had a low blood sugar moment, I think. I don't know what's happening. I'm forgetting things. I'm distracted. My ear is throwing me off. I try to yawn there, when you got that pressure thing. Okay, so.
As showing the latest physics.
Latest physics.
This scientist who thinks that the universe always existed.
Oh, so then you got things like here, and then me. For years, people were arguing all of us. I'm growing up. Is it Saturday? Is it Sunday? Which day is the day of rest? Whatever. And then, when I was a little tiny kid, sure, shops were closed on Sundays, things like that. Then the great changeover. Elvis shook his hips. And oh, wow. See, there's a whole primate psychology. You got to watch every generation. There's a let's get Chase the Reds and the McCarthy era things, and the Elvis shook his hips, and let's have a conference on whether these are the people, okay? But they're the same. They're running around like the Beatles. Okay, this is the psychology of the human species. This is why people are recognizing, hey, we had acid rain, we had the ozone layer hole. Too bad I can't queue up the show QI right now and find the segment where they were talking about that, where the guy was like, these people are doing research, they're smart, it's grown-up talk. They don't do it over here in our culture. I've talked to other people in other cultures. Don't worry. Okay? But this is, that's for something else. But they're talking about there's not really an ozone layer, and there's not really, and the ozone is not comprised of this, and this is how it works, and this is it. Explained it, right? And I'm just giving you some paraphrased junk version of something, right? But the point is that the guy said the scientists were cruel and they played a trick on it, and the other guy was like, yeah, and these are respected people, and the audience was all clapping. Everybody else over here would be like, oh my goodness, what are you saying? It's different reactions for primates. You show them a little card, right, with a picture on it. Get all shocked. Egregores, this is called in the occult. And jumping back to when the ball started bouncing a long time ago, I had some guy working at some social worker thing. You saw that guy talking about shooting everybody with the, taking away the guns or something, like one guy talking. There's another guy gave me 2.4 gigabytes of occult books. Nobody reads that. You think good people are going to be reading that? That's the Book of Satan. It's Pi, the Book of the Sun. You don't even know your own stuff. You don't even research the history. You think I know this guy talking about this Divini Pyrus? That's why I said, never mind, forget it, because there's Maimonides, there's all kinds of other stuff. There's like the 3 other references of Saturn and Saturnel and El, the ancient king of Phoenician god of light. And everything is incorporated, all knowledge and cultures of the human species. The Indus Valley, the Chinese, the cavemen, everything. Why? See, I didn't want to say cavemen, but everybody understands that concept. The egregore. I say caveman, you see some like guy wearing loincloths or something with a club, right? I say Uncle Sam, you see, thinner, older looking gentleman or something with a white beard and a top hat with the red, white, and blue stripes on it or something like that. I say giraffe, you see some striped kind of orangey, yellowy or something animal with a long neck. These are egregores in the occult. These are golems in your head. This is magic and summoning and mysticism. Right? I say kitten, you have a nice little, you try to imagine a nice little cuddly kitten. Or something like that. These are appeals to emotion also, which is an invalid form of argumentation. Invalid. I'm a little rough on the edges, but I could take on. See those two guys talking? I don't like that stuff. Because that's somebody, that kind of magic Loki talk can be used to manipulate poor, innocent people. Protect the innocent, serve the public trust, Robocop. There. What do you think, you Robocop? I think you're a robot? Okay, so listen, the point there, what are the words too? Protect the innocent and serve the public trust. What does that mean? What's the public trust? Is the public trust the confidence of the people? Or is it the a banking interest, a security interest, a trust fund? If I'm saying that I'm going to bring peace and security to a nation, as I in my fictional world, not me, I'm pretending that I'm some unified country kind of entity or something like this, representative of something on my fictional cloned planet, right? This ear is disturbingly throwing me off. And, I want to I'm telling everybody, hey, we got our own independent nations, leave us alone. And I'm like, no, I want to bring you peace and security. I come in peace. Peace has different definitions. I'm going to look up something right now. Peace has different definitions. Like one is to be peaceful and harmonious. That's what people think. But the actual Romans used to bring peace by destroying your enemy completely. And a security is, a safety or a security interest. So, I'm going to just come into your nation on my fictional world in a video game or something, and I'm going to wipe out your economy. I'm going to destroy your people psychologically, demoralize them, subvert your nation, and then I'm going to, peacefully install my new system, and you're going to shut the fuck up and worship the God I tell you to worship. And we're going to open a bank. And you're going to pay interest. And I'm just suggesting that there's people running a machine here, like some kind of science fiction episode, that they don't even know how the machine was operated. I got some stuff from the 76th Congressional, where there was some senators talking about some insidious criminal organized group that wanted to try and infiltrate and destroy their nation, and they had to protect it and all that jazz stuff. And then they were praying to the sundial. And I'm like, oh crap. There they are, right there, in the Tesseract, in the puzzle, going, how do we get out of this puzzle? And then you got to think about primates. You want to try to tell them, excuse me, I just came out of that time machine over there, and you Greeks got to stop worshiping Zeus. You think what? Frankenstein villagers, woohoo, 2.0. Yeah. All right. So now, what was all of this? Because some woman, I'm sure a nice lady, a young girl, a lady, she's a woman, a female, a grown human female, it appears by the picture, and most people don't show pictures, and sometimes that's smart, but she's at the point where who gives a shit? Leave me alone, you punk, kind of deal. Carol, ask a question. Does some place called Canada, a geographical location on planet Earth, formerly known as Canada, maybe is where I am? I don't know. I've had no disagreement from a bunch of individuals. This is the thing. This is the strange thing. Very strange indeed. And I have approached it I have been trained like a good little primate. I am not just a savage. Yeah, sure, take away my coffee. See what happens. Okay. Does something like Canada's Constitution provide a legal tool that the, I don't know, some House of Commons, or it's primates to me, or the Senate, that's something from, I don't know, science fiction? No, I'm just kidding around. Or the Senate can employ to prevent a rogue or an insane or a mentally injured head, moon, and star. That's what that means to me. Optimus Prime, moon, and star. From bankrupting our country. Now, I got no issues with y'all. I love everyone, sure I do. Okay, and peace and harmony with everyone. And I am a former soldier from the Canadian Armed Forces. And I have a different sense because I've studied some martial arts and other cultures. And I have a different sense of honor and duty than your average kind of grunt. And an oath is a different thing to me, and my oath I ask questions about. And that's a different story, and it's been handled. Okay? But I got no problem with anybody. I just like winter solstice. And I think that someone, at some point, I got 2 grade 5 science questions about something that apparently went on, and a lot of this stuff everybody sees on TV, so they'll do their little conspiracy talk, or they'll try to side rail you and distract you and throw you off, and you'll ask a question about something legitimate. How does a clock work? And they'll be like, oh yeah, you think a clock works with math and science and that shit? It's not just ghosts and quartz magic crystals? Oh yeah? Well, I bet you think that the moon landing wasn't real either. Oh, well, here's the deal. Remember I was talking earlier on? The first video, actually, because the thing that whatever. And I said about something there. My ear's throwing me off again. Because I'm keeping it bouncing around with low blood sugar moment. It's okay. There's nothing to eat. Oh, yeah, there we go. Take another drink. And I'll say things. Remember I said about the trivium, quadrivium, but nobody knows what those things are. You don't want to study math and geometry. We'll just say the word trivium and quadrivium and fuck astronomy and how the clock works, or how the Antikythera mechanism works. What's the Antikythera mechanism? Who made that shit? Where did it come from? Oh no! It's just primates. And I'm saying that somebody went around with different kind of weapons and be like, hey, if we take all these clocks away, we just kill everybody. Make them worship on the sun god. That's why your light is on. Just wipe them out. Tell them to fucking... Oh, yeah. Quintus Satirius, the crane moving company in ancient Rome. Don't fucking tell the kids that. Don't tell them they can move a rock with the fucking fulcrum. Or like a Wally Wallington. See, I got so much. Wally Wallington with a pebble and a freaking 2x4 clamp can move a rock twice the size of an Egyptian stone. Don't tell anybody that. We'll tell them it's telekinesis and the aliens did it. And we'll just mock the crap out of them because they're idiots. They're plebs. We'll just manipulate them, shine a flashy light over here and sell them shit. Consumers, builders. The Time Lord kind of deal with the guy. The one people talking with their... I don't even... Because I could really hammer home cutting up like some bunch of gurus, fake gurus. You want to call them your antichrists or whatever? Just throwing you all off for years. None of this. Like I told you, these 2 guys trained. They came back to use a fake name, say he was sent by God. And people... Overnight marketing, everything, 35,000 followers, and spotlight over there. And everybody goes back into another Plato's cave. You gotta do your due diligence. Are you sure you won't? You better watch out for that Dunning-Kruger effect. Wow. Me? Wow, just ponder on that nightmare for a while. Okay, so she asked this question, right? From my point of view, nobody reads. There's a joke, because how do you hide something from somebody? There's a joke. You could do a priest, a rabbi, an Englishman, an Irishman, an American, and a Chinese man and an African man walk into a bar. You know, that kind of deal, okay? But I'm just saying, there's a joke. It's a joke, but I don't have any personal issues with it. How do you hide something from somebody? We'll just say one of those, pick from the list. And the answer is put it in a book. Okay? So, and nobody reads. I didn't read either. So come on. I'm sharing. One big giant hug for humanity. Okay? Peace. I don't have anything against anybody. Maybe this guy's got, the bad guy's got, there's a whole crap load of these bad guys. Maybe they're all like, the puppet hand up their ass or something. Get on the TV and talk like the Mandarin. Or your wife and kids get it. We're gonna hone you like Buddy there in the cult. Make you a movie star. No offense. So I read Section 32 of She Said Canada's Constitution. Down here, I scroll down. There's somebody like, we need to reconstitute the Republic. The common law is alive and well in our Constitution. It's still law. Common law has been in Trump-like statute since James I's rights at common law could be well given constitutional status and rewritten constitution like Aboriginal treaties. He makes some extremely good points. However, I see it from a different angle. Let me just go on here. Let me see. Damage being done. The child. See, you don't got it. It's right, but it's not right. It's playing. It's acting. Addendums, your constitution was a UK. I'm looking for this other comment. Somebody else was saying there isn't one or something. It's actually trolls. What's that? It's like he cracked. They won't do this. They never. These people. I'm trying to just analyze all this shit. Holy crap! Where? Oh, somebody else is posting something else. This seems too far. It's a petition not officially mandated by Constitution Canada. Weak position, honorary, doesn't imply succession. Privy Council is supposed to be political, Queen, Governor General, right to a Vice Prime Minister, and Constitution Canada is government. So maybe the UN and Queen of England don't even know what the hell's going on. I'm just kidding around, but don't take me seriously. I'm just making comments here. Maybe we could hold those two if the arrangement is suspected. Canada cannot stand another 3 years. Anyways, there was another comment here. What? Non-confidence, blah, blah, blah. Fucking, see, they don't. And why? I got the torch. What the? I found it. I'm like, hey, excuse me. Anyway, no problem, no debate, no say. That is the first thing. Maybe it was a reply to a comment. I can't seem to find it right now. Oh, there's a reply. It's not 20%. Anyways, the point was, let's reread that again. So, we need to reconstitute a republic or something like this. Common law is alive and well, our Constitution. So, anyways, I've done some research. What I'm saying here, Section 32, apparently, of this alleged Constitution. Somebody else says we don't have a Constitution. We've got a Bill of Rights and a Charter of Rights and Freedoms or something like this, thing like that. And that those two together are supposed to be the Constitution, but it's not because you got to look up the definition. Blah 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 blah. So they both make very good points. I'm the one panning for the gold here. I take all the good stuff and I put it together to form a nice chunk of good stuff. Okay, kind of deal. And so I'm saying I was reading, and so this is what's happening on my fictional world. No offense to anybody. I got nothing against you, anybody. Okay, I'm just analyzing objectively. So whatever. It's on a fictional story. Whatever, different planet. Section 32 of their Constitution says it only applies to the government. Apparently in like 1931 or something like this, there was a real government. And the real government exists, but there's a fake kind of veil of criminals that have intercepted at some level of key of knowledge. Woe to you, O lawyers and scribes. A scribe is a cleric, or a clerk. It's a magic diffuser, writer, spell whatever. I don't know. We're just playing around the fictional world here, right? But these are ancient concepts in mankind that have been incorporated, just like the bank, river bank, deposition. It's functioning just like in people are like network. It sounds cool. It sounds right. That movie Network. You think they care about this and this? They got their statistical analysis charts and their mathematical calculations and their budget. They're setting a new date for spring equinox and they're telling you the Nicene Creed. That's what was really going on. Sumerian priests, the Tempel, the Time House of El, the House of Astronomy, all hail the House of El. They were studying astronomy, the movement of the stars, and the peasants were like thinking it's astrology or some kind of divination crap, and like throwing balloons on the ground or something like this. There's all kinds of stuff in there. And then I'm saying that the merchants, the singing the song, they here I am doing Denzel Washington thing there in the room with Lindsay Wagner. That'd be nice. I'm a little rough on the edges. And so, primates manipulate each other. You know, there's like fake, things all through history. Everything. Like, find one time in history when two primates didn't conspire to steal something from another primate. Try! Well, there was that one year. Okay, so I'm suggesting this person is right. There's another guy. I'm going to promote this. Wow. Okay, there's a young man, and he's in his 20s, I presume. Or he dresses like he is. Maybe he's older, I don't know. And he made a very interesting video about the Constitution and how it was a mess or something, and it's huge, and there's all kinds of pages and pages and pages, and nobody really understands it. Just like this, and there's how can we have a person here? And I'm talking my fictional world, kind of too, but this guy was talking about the rules and things, and nobody understands these things. People talking in America about their Constitution and the Second Amendment and all this other stuff. But then again, there's court cases apparently saying that the Constitution doesn't apply. There's other people with their conspiracy literature stuff saying that the FBI prosecutor looking for anybody. Are you constitutionalist? Were you one of those? But then again, they're like, I swear to the Constitution. All this is all like, it's all a mess. I'm pushing a cloud. So we don't have a constitution, let's just say, on this fictional world, and it's just a presumption thing, and it only applies to the government. Like, you were walking by on the street, and there's a fenced-in area that's a construction kind of area, and there's a union, and all these people in the construction team, and they're working for that company, and you're looking through a hole in the fence, and you hear somebody waving a piece of paper going, we got a new contract, we got a new constitution, and you're like, right on! You're outside that fence going, yeah! And that goes to the other guys there, the trolls and stuff. Do you think they actually landed on the moon? Well, guess what? Somebody asked me a question once. There's a boat and it's floating this way or whatever, and you can go back and risk your life and save everybody, or you can choose to just sail on and be selfish and live for yourself, you bastard. And I was like, really, prick? How about I choose the third option and let the wind and the gods decide? You want to be a smart ass? What third option? I didn't give you third option. Kobayashi Maru, mofo. Kind of deal. I wanted to say the real words. Oh, I got so many just thoughts going around, and then I just got distracted again. So it only applies to them, and that's the thing with the third option is I saw it on TV. It's legal hearsay. I wasn't there. I have no first-hand knowledge of the experience. It could have happened or it couldn't have happened. Oh, you son of a bitch! I actually wanted to trick you. I wanted to get you to say that we didn't land on the moon, you bastard. I wanted to confuse and throw everybody off and think you were one of those people. I know you did, you fucking piece of shit. I'm the science agent. But by myself, holy crap. Picked on by a bunch of clowns like this guy. Or fucking whatever. Hey, we're gonna fucking wait till we got everybody's gun and we're gonna kill them all. Here's 2.4 gigabytes of fucking stuff. Go figure out how we're doing it. We run the drugs, we sell the weapons, we control the sex trade in your country, and there's nothing you can do about it, soldier boy. Tee hee 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 hee. Know what I heard about ex-soldiers? Yeah, hey, there's one for you. Leah Remini with the Church of Scientology and stuff like that, or whatever. But they apparently got gang stalkers. How do you convert gang stalkers? How does Darth Vader have so many stormtroopers? How did Hitler get all the brown shirts? Where's all the people answering the phones at the North Korean call center? Who are these people? I don't know how many people could be involved in something like this. My neighbors ain't. for the whole human race. This is where you put this beast into the goddamn pit for 1,000 years, and then you all sit around knitting and shut the fuck up holiday, where everybody on planet Earth, sits down, shuts the fuck up for 24 hours, and I will guarantee you world peace. Shut it all off for a day. Have your day of rest if you want to follow the holistic system that is already in operation according to the movie Network, as my racquetball bounces around the room and I feed you all kinds of information. Write it down, put it on a chart, try to think about it, meditate on it, because you ain't going to solve this in one day. And if you can grasp everything that I'm saying, wow, from the start to this. Don't get tripped out. Go grab your number 42 towel and do your little meeting. So I'm suggesting that there was a country. There's because I'm jumping around. Federal, when you saw my little map, Feather L, the Father L, the feather of Ma'at, weighs the balance. Everything is a holistic system, is described in like the Network, but somebody is keeping it to them. I'm suggesting on my fictional world, Alexander the Great kept that system to himself and his buddies, and they utilized it. The Ptolemies and the I don't know where that came from, and and that stuff. Hey, I'm gonna dress up like the Pharaoh, and we're just gonna raise all these kids, and I'm gonna be the Pharaoh. You don't hear too much talk about that, eh? Because remember I was telling you that Bettany Hughes was talking to the one woman about Alexander the Great, and I thought it was kind of strange, and I don't mean to insult her, but it was kind of creepy and a little bit perverted, I thought, where she was like, rubbing her hands together. He was a genius. He realized that the people worshipped Apis the bull, and he went into town just like as technical, when, Cortez or whatever, who let's study their astronomy and their religion, and then we'll just dress up in costumes like a Trojan horse kind of thing. This is a psy0p Trojan horse, rooted into your Freudian primate subconscious and your whatever id and ego. Y'all been hadden. That's a bit of a joke, a private joke. I'm gonna eat this thing here. Laden is to hold something back. Binna happens to be the third Sephiroth. Kaaba, Allah, Kaaba, Elia. I'm eating, excuse me. I need some sustenance, if you can call it. What are we at here? An hour and 28 minutes, wow. Binna controls understanding in time and space. On my fictional world, Operation Binna Laden means to hold back understanding in time and space. In other words, 52 conspiracy pickup. Stroll the Loch next monster at him. Crop circles. It's as long as they're talking about hearsay shit. No evidence, they don't know how to make a contract. They'll just wander around and fucking pick up signs outside. Fucking trees. Cut down trees to make a fucking sign, walk around save the trees. They're all fucking idiots, I tell you. That's not how I feel. I'm doing a character. Mob. Governmente, control the mind, control the state. The state of mind is the state of the mind of the primates, and it's also zoo management, but it's also the land as the state of Kansas. Photo. Oh, there's all kinds of information, and if you don't know how to process it, if you don't have all the information, then this sounds like just buckets of water. That's a wicked witch of the west there, Toto. No offense to anybody, and I'm not referring to anybody. I'm just saying the word Toto because it apparently means the contract or the deed to the house or deed to the farm. So the witch chasing, it's an allegorical story, perhaps. Legal straw man, social insurance tax identification number, Tin Man, and then the cowardly lion is the castrated human being at the end that used to be king of the forest, equal in the law. Everybody is the king and queen of England. Equality is paramount, mandatory before the law. Apparently that's a Roman legal maxim. And you throw buckets of water on the wicked witch, because to dissolve a tornado, you need a gale force wind. Dorothy Gale was her apparent name. And a little bit of water in order to dissolve the tornado and return home. You 3 signatures on a pirate contract. Click your red slippers together. Return back to the state on the ground, not the state in your mind. Are you in or on? Kind of deal. And I'm not. It's a fictional world. Book of the living, book of the dead. $20 bill in your left hand. The guy in the mirror or woman in the mirror has a $20 bill in their right hand. Negative. DC6. The pattern is full. It's called parallel pattern magic. Something like that. Okay, so, yeah. So, this is all to explain this fine young lady asking the question. What about if you're mad at someone, go sue them. Accuse them of something, provide your evidence. It's very important. And then, hope you don't read some story about whatever happens in the other kind of weird stuff and situations. Like I've been threatened with numerous times by strangers, which is disturbing. So I've often asked that question as an ex-soldier. I've met a lot of fucking dirty people, smart-ass people. Sounds like I made jokes and then somebody else went and put it around and spread the message, sent some emails out or something like this. Pretend you're from 1942 or a North Korean call center and tell them, screw your Nuremberg trial. I don't care. I'm just an operator answering the phone for Adolf, and there's nothing I can do. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. That's above my pay grade. Oh yeah, no, you gotta be a pay grade. That's above my pay grade. Why don't you go do your mission there? This guy's supposed to be a lawyer, legal advocate. Don't tell my wife. Don't talk about that on the answer machine. I don't want my wife to find out about those crimes. What? Don't talk about the banking fraud, whatever, and the Bill Abrams and the Victoria Grant. Don't talk about that stuff in front of my husband. I'm gonna go have a steak and a beer in your hometown. Whatever that means, I don't know. You're a weirdo. Who are you people? Why are you talking to me like this? What's wrong with you? Nobody cares. I'm just saying. That's the kind of crap I've had to deal with. Hi, this is 1942 Germany. What do we do if like a fucking, psycho tyrant invades the earth? What happens if an actual, not that I believe in this crap, but just hypothetically, because most of the other primates outside believe in this shit. So they always blame it on it's the devil, Satan, Pa, and this is the devil's plan. What if it's just a group of organized criminals? Whatever. Stalin and fucking Hitler, they're all laughing. The devil. Fucking Hitler, I was just reading, wanted to kill atheists. Gotta preach a religion. Make them believe in fucking ghosts and fairies. Doesn't matter which one, all through history. If you're right, you believe in a God, good for you. You attain something better, reach for the stars, grasp, exceeds, whatever. My dreams exceed my grasp. What else is heaven for? All that. All of it. I'm just saying, you want to do like the, Commander Worf. Gotta be a good Klingon warrior, and you destroy the man you are today, or woman you are today to become a better human being tomorrow. Do that. All that stuff, right? Pay attention to the morals of the story. Let breadcrumbs back to the oven, the frog and the scorpion. Don't let the Scorpion rides your back across the river? Because it's a double cross. It's a double cross, the cross of Lorraine. The allegory from the, I got the painting and everything from the allegory of the cross staff. The cross staff, it's a navigational instrument. Mankind has been prosecuted upon the cross staff, folded up into a mental mind matrix. That's just whatever. I'm just saying. This is me analyzing everything that I've seen over the years, plus studied. I don't just listen to the people. I follow the good stuff, and I got the references, and I met people and talked to actual individuals and made phone calls and called the guy in Hawaii that's dad and granddad were part of some, little secret social club that has all this knowledge in books about the bull god of the Bible and all this stuff. And the black people with their stuff. And then I called the guy, this guy, and I went here, and I visited this, and anyways, okay. So, what do? I'm suggesting that this is that insidious little operating shadows. We got the technology this time. And they're really pouring on the Psy0ps. New carrot for everybody tomorrow morning. To run around the water coolers talking about, did you hear? And that's where it crashes and cycles. And then the next group, if we don't get some goddamn grown-ups, seal off your build your wall around and whatever. It's not an issue. Love you. Come back later. We gotta clean up the fucking house around here and then make sure that the rest of you will be alright later. But right now, it's too much. Kind of deal. But nobody cares. I'm saying it, whatever. On this fictional earth, somebody's using that kind of situation. Human trafficking. You create fictional entities in the law. I've been paying attention. All kinds of stuff. Listen to everybody. And then I did my research. And then I made phone calls. And then I looked it up in the library books. And I went and looked in the law books. And I went and read 425 sections or something to find section 426, which was the loophole that just made that entire spiel of $15 word talk mumbo jumbo that nobody understands and isn't bound to in contract. It's a presumption. And then you gave away your equality in the law, and then you can't bitch that the fucking tyrant went and did something different. Because you don't know how, as a group of mob mentality Frankenstein villagers, to put down the goddamn torches and make a contract and teach the monster how to hold a teacup. You know what I'm saying? Peace and harmony. Why you gotta be like this? Look what's happening over here, but they know. Somebody knows. You can't, this has been done in history. It's already a repeating process. It's just a new group of fucking idiots to just mold and shape and move around everywhere. So all of this bullshit to go around indirectly instead of just saying, apparently there's an operational accounting commerce. You are the authorized representative. You've joined some de facto corporation that's pretending to be your country, and that the country still exists, and it operates in a holistic and perfect way with the river bank, and if you can connect the circuits properly, you can discharge all debts, and humanity ends up being prosperous with a surplus. And then you have to grow up and realize that you can only, not everybody's gonna eat caviar and have champagne and sit on the couch all day licking themselves like the dog. Some people, yeah, whatever. An entire different system. And there's been whatever, see, and then I want to try and save my stuff so I can work on my project and put this in one package, because I got all kinds of other stuff. And some dirty bastard like this guy's bosses, because that guy can't do it. Roman soldier fucking dude. I'm just another stormtrooper. We're going to line them up like that video that went around a few days ago. I've seen all kinds of stuff like that. Step outside, analyze it like a scientist. Distance yourself emotionally like a doctor kind of deal. Yeah. Doesn't mean that it's not sad and sick. Okay? But you gotta grow up. Everybody. Because apparently, historically, what you are maybe alluding to is far worse than you could ever imagine. I know some war. Thankfully, only a little. But enough. It's already happening in other places. Did you not see the video? There's a bunch of freaking psycho monkeys just, unloading rounds into people laying on the ground. You want to go somewhere else and talk? That's what you're worried about? This is what you're thinking is happening or coming, and you want to know if there's any safeguards. I've called around. All I've talked to is a bunch of giddy, giggling fucking smartasses. They ain't grown-ups, they ain't men, they ain't women. They ain't warriors, they ain't soldiers, they ain't scientists, doctors, lawyers, engineers. They're just some kind of fucking weirdos answering the phone. Some of them in dangerous positions of alleged authority, and they're just a bunch of giggling fucking 12-year-olds. Nobody cares. Sorry, I'm just doing my job. I'm just like 1942. Does that piss you off? 6 sociopaths at call centers. We are fucking kind of screwed. Unless a new meme spreads and people wake up. But now you got your fucking space guys. And I heard somebody talking years ago about how a manipulative plan for civilians, because I've seen all your stuff. I've seen everything that I can find. There's all kinds of stuff. Even one claiming that, oh, what a coincidence. This top secret document was left on a printer somewhere. Somebody made photocopies but forgot the original, or some crap, all these stories. And we found this document, and it says that, wow, what an amazing coincidence that the so-called banking guy, see, because everybody wants to blame the fucking, somebody, the demons, the angels, the fucking aliens. Okay, so jumping back to the bouncing ball in a racquetball room. What if it's a demon? What if it's somebody's possessed by demons? You can't tell the difference. They still look like primates. What if it's like that old show, 80s show or something, V, where the reptilians dressed as humans or something like that? You can't tell. What if it's like Star Trek Deep Space Nine with the Dominion who look like humans, and everybody in Star Trek, the Federation's all paranoid. I've got to do blood tests, check your ID when you walk in the door, because we don't know. That's what's coming, but not in the sense it's to make sure you're not a fucking member of the Dominion kind of deal. That you're not one of these guys that's working for, candidates to try to infiltrate a nation and overthrow it and then slaughter shitloads of people. And there's lots like that guy. But he is a bitch for somebody smarter than him that knows how to make another, or at least they got the contacts, they order the parts. It's like the Batman suit. Order 50,000, whatever, of this part, 100,000 of that one in different boxes, and I'll put together an anti-Gether mechanism. Oh, it's that sacred secret knowledge, the aliens, whatever, the ghosts and goblins. It's humans. No gods, no ghosts, no aliens. It's humans, primates, the most deceptive species on the planet. And if you look, pockets of humanity all believe in different things and different gods. And I come from a big city where I could stand on the corner and point in 3 different directions, and there's groups of primates that won't leave their neighborhood and talk to the other primates, and they all believe in different gods. Or you just go to another province or state and they have a completely different interpretation after time. It starts out with somebody telling some information, and then the grapevine effect kind of thing occurs. And so even in a big city like Toronto years ago, or even whatever, I wear Superman shirts every day just because I know encryption is kryptonite. I want to study optics because the red and blue lights are on my chest instead of over my head. Like a cop car. Told me, don't be a dog that follows orders, be a wolf. That's the authority to question illegal and unlawful orders. And why is there a difference between illegal and unlawful? Nobody wants to talk about that. Because illegal is corporate policy and lawful is legal maxims, logic, and the laws of nature and economics and electricity. Okay, so I don't know what else. That's a lot. And I don't want some punk like this guy's managers to take my shit and then go off and try to, cube all your brains into some other cult. Whatever. You got a cult of logic. That's too hard. That's where the whole humanity is here. I can be rich and be stupid too. Nerds are nerds. Excuse me. I'm eating. And my little baby girl wants a piece. Because she bugs me sometimes. Yeah. Cabin fever. Big stretch. I need another drink. Unfortunately, it's water. It's going to be heated up to make coffee. And I don't drink. But I'm sure after all that, everybody could certainly use one. So this is a completely unprofessional presentation, off the cuff, on the roof. Psy0ps agent reporting from the foxhole. Excuse me. So there seems to be some truth to something, and a lot of people answer questions, and I got all kinds of evidence and personal experience and first-hand knowledge. And I'm thinking that the dragon, is one hell of a Goliath. I need some witness protection. Help you all draw up the plans and stuff and, work out the details, and y'all be getting off on tangents and be like, no, excuse me, General, you missed out this part. Whoa, kid. You got the whole thing, man. I would have done the wrong thing, buddy. Whatever. That's the reality of the situation. I guess I'm like the Daniel guy, they call him for that. There's a cube. It's like a hyperdimensional tesseract you see on the chalkboard here. And hello, it's okay, I will rebel. Oh, listen, your belly is fine. Why don't you just calm down? Daddy's busy right now. Are you warm yet? Are you warm? You're going nice and warm? Don't worry about it. You just require so much attention. Yeah, good. Here, wait. What's this? Here, I got a chicken treat. You can take one chicken treat and have another chicken treat. Here's a bacon peanut butter. Have another treat. Yeah, lots of treats. Yay. Good girl. Yeah. And then I'll give you I got food over here. This this one? You can make this one? Yeah, you want this one? Chicken? Oh, what is it? This is chicken and liver. Oh, wow. Chop up for you. Fill your belly, nice clean glass of water. This is good. This is good. Shut up. You like it. There you go. Alright, so that's a long video. And that's two of them. There's one before this, and then there's this one. Somebody stitch them together. And then who's got time? You're going to listen to this for 2 hours, and then you're going to process this for like days, and then you got to go through your emotional things, and it's pretty heavy. Pretty heavy, dude. Why is everything so heavy in the future? 1.21 gigawatts! Excuse me. Yeah, if you don't realize, a little bit of a character in some sense, I guess. Yeah, so there. This is me pretending to be an avatar with my true nature showing through, I suppose, and not trying to be too much of a smartass, but to lighten the mood a little, because this is pretty deep and strange and horrifying stuff. Because if big word, you're talking about what you're talking about, what I think you're talking about, it's a difficult situation, ain't it? And it appears that it has been arranged like that. So there's lots of things that I avoided saying, and that's why that's an issue with trying to explain all this. I'm not trying to leave stuff out. I'm also trying to throw not so good kind of elements off a little, while still maintaining a course of honor and honesty. I pretend I'm like a Vulcan and I cannot lie, but it doesn't mean that I can't conform to the parameters of my mission, as Spock would say. You lied. Well, I merely conform to the parameters of my mission. You son of a... So I'm not trying to mislead anyone, except if you're a bad guy. But then again, I've already given away so much. So you see, victims. So there's your thing everybody's worried about. There is a group of Hail Hydra kind of people, and they have been studying. They're not stupid, but they employ a bunch of stormtrooper brown shirt Roman soldiers. Just another Roman soldier. Go get him. Yes, master. Why? Because that's another kind of law of the universe, I suppose. The path of least resistance. And, this primate, I gotta sit around and wait for the corn to grow. Well, this mass murdering warmonger over here's got a really cool philosophy and a twisted little game, and he's gonna give me guns and shoes, and my shoes are gonna be better than your shoes. They're gonna last longer than that junk you buy. It's purposely made to fall apart and be obsolete so that you have to buy more, and you don't even know how to make your own shoes. I'm not saying I'm a shoemaker either. Right? Yeah, you're a good girl. You got your pee-pad, your pee-pad, you can't go outside right now, it's too cold. Yeah, too cold. It's very cold. You're tiny little baby girl. You need your boots on cold on. But you don't want to put your boots on. Yeah, I told you outside. I put your coat on. You like to put your coat on. You're smart. You're smart. I put your coat on. I got two coats. I got a bigger coat for you. Because you got a nice one, and then I got a bigger one for you. Because you keep it nice and maybe we go afterwards. So that's it, the path of least resistance there. Oh, you just want so much attention. Holy crap. Hard time. Every 10 minutes you jump up. Oh, did you burp? Yeah, your food. Oh, that's right. You had a nice food, so you come over and say, thank you, Daddy. Thank you very much. Because you're so good like that. You're too nice like that. You come over and you say thank you. You don't need to say thank you. No, you just, yeah, you can be confident and like, my dad just fed me. I'm going to go sit on the couch. And I'm going to let the food sit in my belly. Yeah. I'm going to be like, yeah, I just had a nice chicken dinner. And a bowl of food. I got so many treats. I'm just a spoiled little princess. Yeah, daddy little girl. Come on up here. I know the story of Spider-Man and Mary Jane. I also know the story of John Wick. And I know the bad guys want to hurt my dog. Don't touch my dog. They already had their time of fun giggling and killing my kitten there back in the day. That's the kind of people I met. So pardon me. But yeah. Try that on and see how that stuff fits. I just happened to be watching that show today and was thinking about making some kind of recording or adding some things to my research, and I wrote down the Bettany papyrus, whatever it's called there, looked it up and downloaded some information on it and a picture of it and everything else because I wanted to make some kind of project there. Project Primate started out years ago. Whatever, and then like 4 years of running around, 3 years or whatever, 4 years running around homeless trying to get a goddamn somebody to obey the law or something like that. Hire a lawyer, nothing, nobody will go near it. And everything that I was just saying, I've been trying to do stuff like that. I've gone through 25 towns and I changed a town with a bar napkin and not even drink. It's just an experiment. And it don't matter. It does matter, but it, pebble in the pond sends out ripples, but just a whole shitload of waves come upon people and they can only process, they only understand different things. And if you see, you can keep your God in a sense, but then realize that there's a fake veil of a sundial put over top of it so that smarter people can mock the crap out of you with the mile. The encryption is the kryptonite, and the mile is 5,280 feet, so there's a bunch of other kids that are in some little group and some, society within a society, and they're going to school with your kids, maybe, and they're writing down 5,280 feet when the question is how many feet are in a mile, and all your kids are like, oh, I don't know, and I don't remember, and I studied all night, and I know what it is, because I remembered it. But there's other people that design it and understand that design. I think some of them are just honorless, kind of fucking abusers, tyrants, everything like that in tools. And if humanity woke up, then you gotta just be on guard for that one giant kind of tribe of primates keeping each other in check in a sense anyways. So I guess show me your pain. Jumping back to that reference I made earlier with the what does God need with the starship? And the brother was like, let me handle this. Brother, come here. What? Tell me about your pain. No. And everybody gets away. What kind of deal is something like that. I don't know. I'm just trying to keep on making up stuff. And then you gotta watch, because all kinds of people been yapping for years. I've seen gurus come and go, and there's other people that have been there for years, and there's professional, really smart people, but they're not attached to any governments or anything like this, but they're just smart, but they're manipulators. And they usurp the attention of the crowd in a giant freaking carnival circus. Dancing monkeys for the primates. It's theater. What are you gonna do if you shut it all off? What are you gonna think about? What are you gonna study? How are you gonna fix stuff? How are you gonna make things? Where are you gonna get your food? Primates, whatever. You can't survive in a natural environment like a squirrel. Where's the fruit trees? Where's the berry bushes? Where's the corn? Where's the grapes? You want to fix things? I already had these ideas years ago when I was going through my high school, and they were like, save the planet. Oh, and I drew pictures of a recycling box before these things existed with, like, paper, plastic, and garbage. Well, that's a stupid idea, my sister, whatever. And then years later, 5-10 years later, they're all over every corner in Toronto. I'm thinking, hey, you got big buildings everywhere, take every block, take one building and just plant, turn it into a greenhouse, plant some fucking apples or fucking something, plant some apples, whatever, what I'm talking about. There's other ways there, hanging gardens of Babylon. Well, somebody grew fucking gardens and picked their own grapes. Well, that was in those days. Good luck eating your iPhone. If we only had electricity, I got an app. Yep. Delusional primates. And there's your mind control. What's the matter? Come on, just go, just sit down. Where is your buggy face? Your pester face. You just cut it out. Pay your belly all day. You're spoiled. Cut it out. Go sit down. That's enough. What are you trying to do? Want to push my limits? You're pushing my limits? Don't give me a cute face. You too. Yeah. Oh, what? You pay your belly. You had a good food. You eat your nice food. Now just go and relax. Yeah, just relax. It's okay. I'll take you over. Okay, I'll get ready in a minute. I'm gonna end this video now. I'm making a video. You don't know? I'm trying to make a video. I gotta take you outside. I gotta dress up, put the clothes on, and the coat, and do everything, and then put your leash, and we'll go outside. Okay? Yeah, look at you. Just needy, baby. Yeah, just hug me, try to claw me. Say, please, pet my belly. Come on. I don't want to go to school. My belly hurts. Yeah, just rub my belly. Yeah. You are so spoiled. All day. What's it been, like 4 hours? It's all day. All day. Look, you got a bacon treat. Yeah, I need a bacon treat. Yeah. You do like it? You're a baby girl. You're cute, baby. Okay. Anyways, there's all kinds of stuff. That's all for now, I guess. Well, yeah. So, this is Primate 72521. That's another inside joke there. Ayn Rand novel, something like that. I've only been Anne Frank, trying to find a closet to hide in for the last 4 years so I can write all this stuff up. So yeah, I guess this week I'll be trying to, stay alive, all that stuff, and I might have to, what if I'm right about this guy, I gotta what? Who am I gonna call? I gotta send a letter? Smartass? Somebody said that to me, some little smartass Nazi guy, or something, fascist guy, I don't know, and he was spitting in my food, all that, whatever, last summer, I don't know, people were doing nasty things. I ain't in an area, or haven't found anyone in this entire geographical region that gives a shit about their supposed country or isn't patriotic to fuck all. You want me to be real? You want me to talk? You want me to bring out some passion, some adrenaline? Yeah, I've seen nasty. And if there is, they're cruel and sick. And nobody cares. I'm gonna go have a steak and a beer. I don't drink. Why are you telling me beer? And what's the deal with my hometown? Lady, you're a weirdo. They're pretending to be some assistant to some veteran thing or something like that, and you're not helping me, and you don't care about, what if I found some actual information about a treaty violation and the UN cares, or not that anybody should care about the thing there, why do they care? What about the people, or something like that? What about everything else? Who knows? I'm just saying, other, Interpol, the FBI, the freaking every other something. No, they all care. You don't. Nobody here. Not one that I found anywhere. Except maybe this lovely woman here that was asking a question, and maybe a bunch of, handful of other people somewhere else think they care. But what if the other guys were right? What if somebody usurped our nation with a fake kind of contract, and they left loopholes in it so that it only applies to them, and we don't have a constitution? You gotta give away your rights and freedoms, and they will protect your rights and freedoms and play the roles of the actors protecting your rights and freedoms, like someone once said to me at a very prestigious kind of office. We play the roles. What does this mean? I'm asking as an ex-soldier. Does this mean this, and what does this mean? Well, you shouldn't answer me questions. We play the role of the actors defending people's rights and freedoms, so that means they don't have any. And we're not like America. America's got laws. They don't just have a constitution that applies or doesn't apply. And if you want to do Lysander Spooner, it's a, whatever. How can you be bound to a document that, was written by like some pharaoh a couple generations ago, and it doesn't apply to you, and then whatever, but then there's these laws, and then there's logical formulas, and then there's obligation and contract and things like this, and then services and protection and things, whatever. And they got different laws. They got laws. And sometimes, apparently, you can pay a portion of what someone would want here, to get somebody to quote something in logic. So yeah, they're some smarty pants, goofball, giggling fucking guy like this clown here that we listened to earlier. I got my 3 criteria. If you remembered the storyline years ago when I was standing in that small town at that counter with my iPad at the time, and I wrote down those 3 criteria in that junk fucking nickel and diamond app that I bought for like $60, and then 2 months later they came out with a new version you had to buy again or whatever, and then I just wrote the 3 criteria down and closed it, because there was actually 4 criteria, and there was a bunch of other stuff that I needed to figure out and observe and analyze and collect evidence for before I got there. And besides, if I was being a good ex-soldier asked to do something, although competent appear incompetent, Sun Tzu would say. And now I guess I gotta follow Sun Tzu and try to be a wise general and travel by a circuitous route. Because this is what I got. And I'm thinking it's like holy water soaked. Well, I messed up my cut. Take 2. It's like, get back in the kid. It's like melodramatic. I wasn't acting, but I feel embarrassed. I was trying to keep the flow going there. It's like a cross soaked in holy water. And the vampires hate it. And they don't want anybody to know I got it. Who's they? That's bullshit. Somebody like that clown and his fucking bosses who went to school. So we're dealing with a general populace that is basically grade 6 educated, and that's why nothing on TV. They appeal to the lowest common denominator, and television is programming for whatever. Boob tube, for a reason. Idiot box. No Joseph Campbell on your television talking about mythology and human psychology and anthropology and all that jazz. None of the people that already talked about this stuff, like the guy was talking about in the Elysian Mysteries, and people talking about how Latin was created. Because it didn't just come about. Somebody was practicing with languages and trying to understand how language operated, and they were trying out different versions. And obviously embedding coding into the language or information, because a mile is 5,280 feet, and that's nothing. Venus takes 225 days to orbit the sun because the V is a 22 and the E is a 5, and thus the sun spelled backwards, and that's just the easiest one. All kinds of stuff like that. I got all kinds. Gotta keep some cards up my sleeve, I guess. Because that stuff came out and nobody would go near it, and somebody was actively trying to make sure that nobody else got a hold of it or figured this stuff out, because they are managing a mob mentality. Somebody is. And I'm not suggesting that this person here that asked me the question, that person that you're talking about, whatever, because I believe that the term minister comes from moon and star. When the game of the pharaohs kind of thing was being played and people had knowledge of astronomy, I'm the head moon and star. Me and the fucking moon god and the sun god. I'm the representative. I can read the signs. I can tell you, there's an eclipse coming tomorrow, and if you give me, a son for a slave, a virgin daughter, and a bag of gold, I'll do an abracadabra incantation and make that giant snake stop eating the sun. And congratulations, we're all back tomorrow. Because we got horizon, where zero, horiz is zero backwards, and on is the sun god. The E is the constant, the current E, kind of the current C. Currents E. And the E in the mile, and the whatever jazz, business. And so, yeah, all kinds. It just goes on and on, kind of like me in this video. Well, that'll be all for now, and then kudos to me if I can even try to upload a 2 freaking hour and 12 some odd minute there video, and then the one before it. And then congratulations to anybody that can sit and listen to and try to process all of that, because it's quite the mess we're in, I would say, in a fictional world. And how do you peacefully resolve that and make a contract without trying to, get all freaked out and having some psycho fucking Nazis come at you? So maybe that is it Ballantyne's Law Dictionary from, I don't know what year, I forget, where it said a human being is a monster? Yeah. It's true. And the monsters are reading that going, that's offensive. How can I be a monster? Ugh, ugh. Give me more. How can you eat your pudding if you don't drink your milk? This one of the guys here reads it. You know what I'm saying? My ears bothering me. I don't like these distractions. This is, yeah. So there. I'm trying to fit more in, but there's all kinds of stuff going on. I'm getting distracted. And it's been a long time here. Somebody's got to listen to this, process it, come back later, whatever. Then there's, nasty people. Don't let them get a hold of this. You think I'm not, somebody's not spying on me? That's the thing, too. You can follow around any breadcrumb I drop. They're certainly not like some of those other people in the United States that care about freedom or something like that. There's some active damn people trying to prevent people, keep them superstitious and stupid. And it's just built in. It's built in. If there's primate management services, there's just a built-in bunch of other primates keeping themselves in check, just like the psychology of the primate that tries to get out of the cage or something. Hey, everybody, climb up the ladder with me. We can get out of the cage. And they all throw tomatoes at them, kill the messenger kind of shit, all that jazz. They're programmed, just like in that scene from the My Dinner with Andre scene, talking about the the citizens are their own slaves and prison guards, and they keep themselves in check. But that's how a primate society would function anyways, once people all opened up, admitted everything. Okay, it's a Planet Vegas, we're a bunch of dirty monkeys, we gotta keep ourselves in check. Put your foot on the dragon, and you know, get a hold of the inner Hulk and the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Get behind me. They didn't listen to their master. These people thinking they're all serving their gods. I speak in allegory for ears that hear and eyes that see. They didn't listen. Oh yeah, and that's why I was going on, because they're people mocking with the Bible, and the Vikings or warriors used to kind of thing or something. Hold your this for the men. They would, because whatever. So that's how it was back then. And the men or whatever, put your you hold your balls in your left hand, put your testicles on the table, and you raise your right hand, and you swear on your testicles. You testify. That's the root word. You testify on the two balls on the Bible. You testify, put your left hand on the Bible and your two balls, and you raise your right hand, mocking the fuck out of you. And they're hiding in the shadows like this prick, manipulating, talking, trying to dominate and be nasty. Parasites farming their own species. Cooperation of the species ensures survival. And besides, that's why it's a double cross. Woe to you. Because I think in the end, when whoever's paying that guy, that's paying the guy, that's paying that guy, that's paying the guy, that's paying that guy, that's receiving an envelope in the fucking shadows, La Busta, an envelope full of money, they're gonna wipe everybody out. Because if you ride the scorpion across the river, you've shown to a different class that you are a dog for, that you cannot be trusted, and they will probably off you in the end. So, I'm just saying that if this guy being used as a fucking brown shirt to go and make sure that once these things are arranged, we're gonna burn the fucking town, he says, that once the town is burned and everybody's done and he's the only one left with the bosses are just gonna send in the robots and wipe that fucker out and all of his kind, because he's just a gorgeous George from the Boondock Saints. And they'll seal the doors and leave you outside. They don't give a fuck. And you've shown the rest of mankind that you can't be trusted, that you're a fucking dirtbag. Suppose that's the reality of it. Well, I got all kinds, I said. So, like Hughes said to Captain Picard once, if you can't take a bloody nose, go back home and crawl under your bed, because it's not safe out there. There are wonders to satiate desires both subtle and gross. I try to remember stuff sometimes too. I believe Captain Picard one time trying to have a dry cigarette there. What a piece of work is man, how noble in reason, how infinite in faculty, in form, in moving, how express in action. Oh, I missed a part. What a piece of work is man, how noble in reason, how infinite in faculty, in form. Oh, crap. Sad moment. Anyways, how in apprehension, how like an angel, in action, how like an angel, in apprehension, how like a god, is how it finishes off. And I was thinking that the only part missing from there is, what about the primate? So, everything is off. And it doesn't start from the root. It plays the devil's advocate on a mob mentality, generalized scale. And it'll accept you for any religion you are, just as long as you have a God. And you don't study astronomy and math and science and history. Maths. Science and maths and history. Oh my. Alright then. It's been your friendly neighborhood Psy0ps agent. Sooner or later, I'll try to get all my information combined and put it together in a nice little slideshow where I can, use a laser pointer, demonstrate it all in a nice, smooth, kind of flowing fashion. Everything's covered. But this is just a rough version. And I, although feel obligated. Oh, there's so much more into that. Some criminal said that to me. Felt obligated. Really? I believe it's more than an obligation. That if I have knowledge of this kind of stuff and the possibility that it might be true, then the people that need to be told aren't exactly aware of the level of the threat that they are supposed to be on guard for. Once an Asian suffers, the inside kind of deal, treason from the inside, or infiltration, subversion. There's another one there. Oh, well. Hats off for now.